Hi, this is Nick Lowry, my friend Greg Abels, and we're here at Windsong Dojo. I'm talking about ways of communicating with each other through physical contact and through bodily communication. So one of the interesting qualities that we become linked up between the two bodies and our centers of gravity start sharing information back and forth is that intentionality can have a play here that's kind of interesting. If we're just engaged with each other and I'm not making any particular change in him at all, but I make a change in me, it tends to get reflected in him. It's a very odd factor. So if I say, we just have the lightest of contact, so just do fingertips. Fingertips, there we go. Just like on our tippy toes. And there's no more contact at this, but I can actually feel his center, and through his fingertips, he can actually feel my center. So we have this sense of connection. We have it? You feel it? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then I do something like make myself taller. His body does likewise. It's just that he did it involuntarily. Now all I did was change my postural engagement in the whole spinal column, and I went from feeling sort of just normal down and compressed to up, upsy-daisy. And he can tell you if you feel like going up too, don't you? It's very odd activity here. You do it to me. Just at will, when you feel like it, go from compression to just, yeah, right. You feel how it kind of invokes it in me. Exactly. Human beings are extremely sensitive to each other in contact and even out of contact. So this can happen at a distance, actually. Yeah, mirror neurons can start affecting the other person's mirror neurons. This is why when I yawn, other people yawn, or even your dog will watch you and it'll start yawning too. If you talk about yawning long enough, in fact, if you just say the word yawn a few times, people will tend to want to yawn. That's mirror neuron activity happening in your brain, and it's built around a sense of being able to get into sort of a state of equilibrium with those around you. When you're in physical contact, it's even more. So that if you're here and then you say, oh, I think I'll compress my whole self and everything goes down, his whole, yeah, isn't that interesting? We have that contact and I say, oh, we have just a light sort of contact, and I take a nice in-breath, everything wants to rise. Isn't that interesting? So you no longer are interested in trying to force his hand or his body down or his body up. You're only really interested in making this sense of connection so that you can feel what's going on in his body, and then changing yourself. I just changed a hip. I just changed another hip. I just changed another hip. And it becomes very subtle because you're no longer trying to activate him. Just make contact with me, Greg. Good. It's just light. Just a little. Yes. Can you feel my center through it, or are you just feeling my arm? There you go. You feel my center now, don't you? Now, don't worry about me. Yeah, you change you. And when I react to it, then change you again. Yeah. 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 Right. Exactly. So we learn a whole different method of interacting with their center, not by trying to affect it like he's just an inanimate object and I'm just going to push it over here and pull it back here and push it like this and pull it like that. I'm not interacting with him like he's some sort of statue. I'm communicating. I'm having a conversation with him. And my conversation is largely self-referential. I'm saying, wow, if I bend my left knee, what happens to him?
I have to move.
Yeah, movement comes out of him. If we're locked in together, we have this sense of parity happening. We have the sense of connection. And I say, I get taller. What happens to him? Everything starts going up. I say, thank you very much. So you want to feel your way into this. It's a very subtle process going on the tactile and the visual levels, where the nervous systems are interplaying on levels that we're not fully conscious of. You have a lot going on in your nervous system. You have huge amounts of information pouring through. The vast majority of it is unconscious. A small amount, maybe 40, 50 signals per second, can really arrive in a conscious way in your brain and be consciously held. Pretty much everything else is flowing through in a very unconscious, hidden from yourself sort of way. And so you can have effects that make no sense to the conscious mind. One of them, let's say he has his hands together. He's got his hands right here together. Just put your wrists all the way together. Boom. There you go. And maybe like that. Good. I'm just going to place one palm on top. Now, his job is to lift. And if I'm pressing down, just lift and overcome me. Yeah, go. Just lift. Right, great. If I place this one hand on top and engage my center to draw him as he lifts, look what happens. His body goes up. Isn't that interesting? So by having this sort of communication and saying, all I'm doing is just shifting my intention as if to bring him to my navel. As he lifts, the vector that's created, the pressure at the hands doesn't change very much, but his whole body starts arcing around this lift. Because the reflexes that would normally lift, if I'm pushing down against it, go ahead and lift. Yeah, he can lift me. He's got two hands on one. I just have a light palm on him, but it's drawing him forward at the same time. Causes his whole body to engage a mechanism that lifts. Now you do this, say we're kneeling, say we're out here and we're in Seiza. Good. And it's even more interesting. Go ahead and put your hands out there like that. I place the palm on top. You begin to lift. And tell me what you feel.
I'm coming up.
Yeah. But does anything change at the hands much? I mean, you feel my pressure, but does the pressure get harder?
No, it doesn't.
No, it just stays constant. And it's drawing you in. It's creating a vector this way that engages your nervous system in an unconscious pattern of reflex. So you have these unconscious reflexes that are very hard to sort out, that are based on what's happening not at the level of the skin, not at the level of the muscle, but at the level of the fascia in between, that has a quality that's called musubi, or connection, that is very inexorable. It's very hard to sort out because there's not a lot of feedback to the conscious mind about what's going on at that level. Okay? Thank you very much.